Hey guys, so welcome to my YouTube channel. And now this third video is a different video. I know that I've made a lot of educational videos, but I think that a lot of guys said, we want Q&A and here's your Q&A. And today we have a really, really good guest. And that is one of my closest friends.
Hello guys, my name is Maribel, Kushi's bestie, and also one of her previous clients. We worked with her together. She's an amazing sales manager, sales coach.
Thank you.
And I think today you will learn a lot from her about business and also about coaching.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think today she's going to be asking a lot of questions that you guys have asked. And I'm going to be as real as I can be. As I said, this YouTube channel is all about me being real, me being raw, and here's what you're gonna get today.
So the first question that I have, I think a lot of you know Kushi from Instagram, and also maybe a lot of you know Kushi from YouTube. So what have changed? Which Kushi are you now since you shifted from that YouTube journey to that Instagram journey? Because one thing that I'm also seeing that you're pretty private on Instagram. Why that?
Oh wow, that's a really good question. Wow, directly to a serious question.
Let's go.
All right, so guys, most of you don't know this, but I had a YouTube channel before. It was almost like when I was 17, 18. This was a time that I used to look a lot of in YouTube, and I'm like, oh my God, there are so many people who are making YouTube. And I was back in India at this point of time. And I'm like, I also want to do YouTube. I want to do YouTube, and I want to make videos like this. And there was only few big channels on India, but there was no one else, right? So one of my best friend back then, he called me and he said, Kushi, do you want to start a YouTube channel? And I'm like, well, you know what? Tomorrow my parents aren't home. That's not what teenagers do usually. When they're not home, you know what things are going. But I said, tomorrow my parents are not home. Should we make a YouTube video? And he's like, let's do it. We took our phone. That was like a cheap ass Nokia phone.
And she still made it. Look at this.
And we made the freaking video and that's how my YouTube journey started. And we were, at one point of time, we were one of the craziest YouTubers in India, which is crazy to think by then, because at that point of time, there are a lot of people going partying and stuff, but this is what I chose. So I would say that from the very beginning, I had that kind of mindset that I want to do something different, because I saw my dad struggling so much in his job. So he gave 15 years of his life to the company, and the company took him out like this. And that's what, that's why I hate, things about the corporates, that when you're actually working for them and giving your whole life, they don't care about you. They don't care about you at all. And that's why it kind of woke me up, and I'm like, I want to do something different. So from the Kushi there, who is sharing her whole life, that time I used to make YouTube vlogs. I had a main channel, a vlogging channel, and you would know everything about me. You would see my dad, you'd see my mom, you'd see my brother, you'd see my
they
life.
even went there.
Everything. And my mom and dad were not happy because I was really making quite embarrassing videos. I was also grounded for a month.
Did some pranks on them?
No. Are you crazy? You want me to get jailed? Dead in my own house? No. But I did pull up prank on people, which sometimes I'd be so embarrassed about, but right now I'm not so embarrassed about these things. I'm like, that's my past, and this is what I did, and that shaped me who I am right now, right? But at that point of time, I was so out, and then there was a switch, and I realized, meeting so many people, and I'm kid you not, I'm not bragging about this, but I'd go out and be like, Kushi, is that you? And they would want to take pictures and everything. I realized that I do not want to be rich and famous. I don't like fame.
Why?
And because I think that people judge you so much, and people have so many things that's why celebrities, people are always involved in their lives. They're talking about you 24/7. Oh, she does this or she does that or this and this. And even if you're I don't give a fuck what people think about me. You do in the end.
It's in our human nature.
It gets into your brain, So from that time onwards, I thought okay, what is my main thing right now? Because one thing that I was lacking the most at that point of time was money, because my parents did not have money. I, being the eldest daughter, had to take care of my family. So I'm like, what is the one thing that I need the most? Money. So why do I not focus on the money? Because I was already not making so much money through YouTube. So I thought I need to make money. And that's when I shifted to business and kept myself more private. And now people actually don't know about my life so much.
But she's still making money. And I think
true.
that's impressive. Because I think a lot of people think when they start a business, especially an online business, they need to be present, they need to be there, need to show themselves. And she's a very good example that you don't need to.
You don't need to. You do not need to put yourself out there, tell who your boyfriend is, who your girlfriend is, or who you're hanging around with most of the time. Okay, with Francesca, I think they would know.
Everyone knows me, of course.
But I'm where am I going? Even when I'm on the trips, I'm not posting so much. I'm posting the next days usually about the trips when I'm already in Dubai. So this is I like to keep it private. And to be honest, it hasn't affected my business at all, even though it's in social media.
I have one question regarding the YouTube journey. what is something that YouTube taught you that you need to know for the path that you're going now, like teaching all these amazing people how they can start their sales journey?
What YouTube taught me?
Yes.
I think that what YouTube really did is it made me more confident, because just think about it, that you going talking to strangers, pulling pranks on stranger, man, it takes guts. If you tell me right now, Kushi, go and pull a prank on stranger, I would shit my pants because it's hard. It's so hard. And that time I had this like, it was just a burst of confidence, and that made me more extrovert because I was an introvert person. So for me to do this, I had to really get out of my comfort zone. So I would say this is what I learned, to be a bit more extrovert, to learn how to talk to people. And I think that's what YouTube added me. And the biggest thing, one thing that I've noticed, in myself is that I get a lot of hate for no reason. So for example,
Really?
so I had a different accent, right? So people were like, this is fake accent, this is fake accent. And these people would just hate you for no reason, because that's what they do. And that's because they don't have anything else
Crazy,
to
I would
do.
have never expected that.
Yeah, but trust me.
She would be the last person that I would expect to get hate on, because she's not really controversial. She's just Kushi. She's just there.
But people just want to hate, And what I learned over the period of time is that you do you. Doesn't matter what anybody else says about you. You just do you, and fuck other people. Who cares? Like, there are people who are commenting. They're like, you know what? She must be having sugar daddy, or she must be having, rich husband, or she must be just having father's money. Trust me, it's none of that. It is all by myself, and even if you say so, it does not affect me because of YouTube. Because what I received there, I just made my brain automatically, and now I don't give a shit. So.
Yeah. So when it comes to people that are starting off, because you said YouTube put you outside of your comfort zone, you were talking to strangers, and I think when it comes to sales, it's so important that you literally are able to talk to strangers, to be confident. For all the girls, all the men that are out there that wants to start also a coaching, a sales business, what would you recommend them to do if they don't want to start a YouTube channel or something, to go out of their comfort zone, to get the confidence to get started?
That's a very good question. So what I would do if I were you, number one, there are two things that I would do. Number one is watch as many podcasts, as many YouTube videos as this is out there. Number two is read. You know why? Because the more knowledge you have, the more confident that you become. The more confident that you become, you are just more easy to talk to people. Even if you're an introvert, you can talk to people because you have knowledge. You're not going to stuck, and you're not going to be like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. And of course, with sales or closing in general, it's all about practice. The more that you practice, the more that you talk to people, the more that you be like, you know what? It's okay, it's people. Even if I'm wrong, even if I have bad English, just think about when you started your thing and you did not know English, you still went and took sales calls and talked to people in English. She closed people in English, which was not her first language at all. I mean, the language that she knew the less, but she still closed people. They made 100K. So if you can do the same for yourself, is get out of your comfort zone. It's I'm going to do it, even if it's a mistake. What's going to happen? What's the worst that can happen, especially when you're starting something?
Yeah. The worst thing that can happen, they say no, and that's it. Then you go to the next person.
There you go.
Yes.
So number one thing is, first of all, go in the mirror, look at yourself and be like, I'm confident I can do this. The more that you talk positive to yourself, the more positive you become. And then after that, start learning, start practicing. Take your friend, or take your brother, or take anyone that is around you who wants to see you grow. Start practicing with them, start talking to them. It's like, hey, I learned this word, or I learned this word. And that's what I used to do. I used to take newspaper and take 4 new English words. So what I can learn. And then I just take them, and then I start making different sentences as to how I can, how I can put it out, with people, and how I can talk to people better. And that's how I learned it.
The effort was real. So this is something that I realized with a lot of successful people, that they are ready to go all in. They always look for other opportunities or solutions how they can get better.
Yeah.
So, and what would you say was one of the other things that you did to become better, where you said hey, I was really going all in to build that business up? Because I think a lot of people don't know what it means to go all in. They think, oh, I'm already doing enough.
Yeah.
But they're not doing enough.
That is absolutely true. Going all in means is that morning, afternoon, evening, this is only one thing in your mind. And this is it, there's nothing else. So I remember back then, when I shifted from YouTube and I started my business, and I somehow managed to get an office and things by making barter deals with other people, and made a team of 5 people out of nowhere. And every morning I'd leave, I would put my headphones on, and I had the most basic phone, the cheapest phone from Samsung. And I would just put this I want to be a billionaire so fucking bad.
You manifested it.
And you know, like, of course I'm not a billionaire, but I mean, what I'm saying is that I was into that zone, and this is what I was thinking. I want to so badly get out of that situation. So I really went all in. And I used to sleep less, which I'm not gonna like tell you guys to sleep less, don't focus on your health. It's nothing like that. Everything is important. Health is one of the most important thing. But I literally took everything on becoming successful. I said I would not stop until I would become. So I'd wake up at 5 in the freaking morning. I do my yoga. I never skipped yoga. I do my yoga, get back to work right away. No other bullshit morning routines. Do my yoga for the health purposes and then just back into the game. So that was my routine for about 2 years. No parties.
But
no
wasn't
going
it a
out.
single day where you were like, wow, I'm so tired, I can't do that?
No, because I had a bigger why, and my why was my parents. The thing is that I did not want to stop until I was sure that they are safe. Because there was heavy, bad situation in my family. And you know, as like women in India, it's like, it's really hard. It's really hard. And especially, you know, as the elder daughter, they kind of look onto you that you're the one who's like going to take care of them. And I'm not blaming them. That's how they grew up,
Yeah,
you know?
that's
So
true.
they expect like for me
It's a
to take
different
care
generation.
of them. And I think I don't think that my parents would have been like, they would have put this thing on me, but their situation was so bad that they had no other choice. So I would, whatever that I would make, I would just give it to my parents. Whatever that I would make. I keep, of course, something for myself, whatever that I need to survive, but that's it. And I do not want to stop until I completely retired them. So that was my biggest why, which even if there were shitty days, and that's what one thing that I also mentioned in the first video, make your goal sheet. In that goal sheet, write those 10 goals, pick it up every single morning and look at it. Every single morning, if you tell your subconscious that this is what you're working towards, you automatically going to be in a good mood, even if there are shitty days.
How would you say that you can come up with a goal that is triggering you emotionally so strongly that you really keep going no matter what?
That's a very good question. See what exactly is missing in your life. So, for example, you sit there by yourself and you're like, I am unhappy. First of all, figure out why you're unhappy. What is the major reason? Now, I'm not saying that money is going to make you happy, and that's what people think as soon as you start making money. But money does solve a lot of problems, right? Which can lead to a bit of happiness. But if you actually want to find fulfillment and peace, there are, of course, more things. But right now, one of the biggest things that people have, and the people that reach out to me are like, Kushi, we want to make money. I'm in a really bad situation. My father, this happened to my father. I have the same situation as you are. I'm in really bad. People are in shit situations, right? And right now, one thing that can take them out of the situation is money. So find out what is that situation, write down that situation, not money, write down that situation that's going to trigger you. But if you're serious and you want to go all in, think about that situation every single day. That's going to push you to get to your goal.
Would you be in the same like position in life if you would have rich parents?
Oh, wow. I was really thinking about this. I think if I had rich parents, and that's what happened with Indian rich parents, let me tell you,
Billionaires.
they become really controlling.
We will be at that wedding too now, but she's not a
The
billionaire.
Mukesh Ambani
Yeah,
wedding.
yeah.
It's
Man,
true.
Kushi.
She's always telling me, like, why are you not that rich? I want to be invited in this Indian wedding. Anyways, I think that my life would look really differently because Indian parents are really controlling.
Okay.
So if like I would not be able to get out of India or go into different countries, my dad would not let me. So I think that change where I took, you know,
Yeah.
the situation, the
You
family,
were the
I
leader of
became
the
the leader
family.
of the family, it was easier for me to dictate my life. But one thing that I'm very, very crazy, that I am always doing whatever that I like. So I was not allowed to go out in the night and do things. But for YouTube, I went out. Like I would come home like 11 p.m. or so. And my parents are like, they hate me. They're like, why?
Yeah.
But I did it anyways. Even if I got like this hatred and all that, they were shouting at me and everything. I did it anyways. I was always this girl's like, I'm gonna do me. You do whatever the hell that you want to do. I'm gonna do me. So I think it would be the same.
A lot of people that are very young are watching this and they're probably in the same situation, even though maybe they're already 18, 19 or 20 years old, they're still living with their parents. What would you advise them if they have very controlling family members and their family doesn't want them to start a business, but they really want it that bad?
That's a very good point. This happens with a lot of people. What I would really suggest is that as soon as you start proving them that this is right, because parents do not want bad things for you, you know? We kind of always vilify parents. We're like, they're the villains, you know? And we don't understand them because they, in the end, are trying to feel that, okay, what is the best for you? And we want the best for you because they have literally just known throughout their life that this is how you live the better life, even though they have not figured it out. But they don't want their kids to know that They haven't figured out the life. For us, like when we were kids, parents are our God. You know, it's like, yes, they know everything, even though they are still figuring out shit in their life. And the more that you grow, the more that you realize that they did not figure out shit, right? So what I would suggest to you, do not vilify your parents, but rather like start working on yourself. And as soon as you prove them, hey, this is how I know that this has worked for me. Like one of my students did, right? His parents wanted him to be a doctor. He's like, I don't want to be a doctor. They're like, no, you're going to be a doctor. Everyone is a doctor in the family. You're going to be a doctor. But you know what? He's like, no, I don't want to be. He still kept on doing what his parents wanted to do. But at the very same time, he started applying to like different businesses. He took my, course, and he took the lowest course, literally. But he worked on himself every single day. And this guy literally started making $3,000 per month as a setter.
Yeah.
He texted me. He's like, Kushi, thank you so much. I'm already making $3,000. I want to join the higher program. And we got on a call. He's like, I'm so ready. I'm leaving my doctorate like as soon as possible. Because now he proved his parents, and his parents were okay with this. And now he joined in, and he's a closer. He's making $7,000 a month right now.
Look at this.
So if it can happen from him, it can happen it can happen for me. It can happen for anybody else.
Would you say running or starting, I would say like a sales journey is the fastest way to make money right now?
You know,
like becoming a closer?
That's a very good question. Now think about it. What I really want to say is
because
that
everyone wants to know, like, hey, how I can make money fast now, tomorrow. I want to become a millionaire.
First of all, if you want to make money fast and that's your goal in your mind, forget about everything, because that's not the way to look at anything. First, you need to be good at something in order to think that you'll make money, right? But of course, the goal is to make money. The point, what I really want to say here is, for what I know, is that sales worked the best for me, because before sales, I tried and tested out a lot of businesses. And what people don't realize, that businesses require capital. And if you do not have enough capital, do not start a freaking business, because it just does not make any sense. Because I lost so much. I made money. I'm not lying, but I also lost so much money. And the only thing that kept me like going was like sales is where I felt that it was stable, because I was not dependent on other factors. It was me. If I get on a call, if I talk to people, and if I close, then I get the money. So everything was dependent on me rather than a third party factor, right? And the more that it's dependent on you and you take 100% responsibility of yourself, it just is faster to make money than, let's say, if you have to be dependent on Facebook ads.
Yeah, that's true.
If you have to be dependent on Facebook ads or pay or any other, company which is monopoly, this is when you're going to get frustrated, you're going to lose, and you're going to start all over again. So for me right now, of course, there's marketing that you can learn, there's sales that you can learn, there's copywriting, there's so many other things that you can learn. Copywriting, you cannot make money that fast. Let's be completely real. Marketing, it takes time. You have to be good. Look at her.
Don't speak bad about my business.
No.
Okay, it's not really marketing. It's just a
but
tool
still,
that we're using.
You learned it over the period
That's
of
true.
time. Over the period of time, tried and tested out, and then it worked out for you.
Yeah.
But with sales, like for example, there has been my students who have just like prepped, let's say for 20, 25 days, and after that they have started making money, because it's like you only learn it better when you talk to people. So I would not say, okay, this is the fastest and this is how you make money, but I would say this is what worked for me. It could be different for other people, but this is what worked for me.
Yes, and I believe that you don't need so much experience before.
You don't.
Like, it's
Not
literally just, honestly, like you have a script usually that you work with.
Yeah.
And it's like a woo system behind it. Like, it's, sorry to say it, but it's so stupidly easy to make money in sales. Like, if you know how the script works and what you need to say, what she teach you, then it's so stupidly easy.
Yeah, and it's not just about like, sales. When people hear sales, they're like, oh, sales. Just think about, is there anyone who say, oh, when I grow big, I want to be a salesperson? Nobody says that, because there's such a negative notion about sales. And that's why I also so many times call it closing rather than sales, because trust me, sales, if you go knock on doors, do cold calling, that's hard. That's really hard. But if you're doing high ticket closing, you better close.
What does high ticket means?
High ticket is, if I have to like really simplify high ticket closing, what high ticket closing really means is that there are coaches and consultants, especially after COVID. This coaching consulting industry went up, like all the digital, everything went up, right? So all of the coaches, let's say fitness, mindset coaches, money making coaches, life coaches, finance, real estate, anything. All these coaches, they have their high ticket products. High ticket products, which starts from $3,000, can go up to 10, 15, 20, 30. And what you have to do as a closer is that you come in and close those high ticket products. That's why it's known as high ticket closing, right? So for example, let's say you're closing a $3,000 product, you get 10%. Usually it's like you guys, like every coach will give you 10%. That's like $300 $300 in 1 hour. If you close
That's good money.
That's damn good money. And just think
really
if
good
you're
money.
even having like 5 calls a week, even if you're able to close 3,
That's good money.
that's $900, almost $1,000 a week. It can go that fast, but of course you got to be good at it. That's very important. And good comes from practice. So the more that you practice, the better that you become at it. So that's what high ticket closing is. And I just want to add one more point. The best thing is that you do not have to find your own leads. This is one of the biggest problems.
Yeah, that's true.
It's the business owners
Yes.
like Francesca.
We provide them for you.
They provide the leads for you. So
Yes.
it becomes so much more easier, right? For you to be on the authority as a closer because people need this product. So it is so much easier for you to sell this product because people reach out to you, not you reach out to people. And when you're in the authority, it's like you can find the problems, and that's how you become a good closer. You genuinely want to help people. If you have it in you, you genuinely want to help people, people will see the real you, and they'd be able to close.
That's true. I 100% agree. I had a question here from someone that asked, what's the next level, Kushi? Like, what's the next step? And I know that you're shifting right now also in your direction when it comes to business. And I can also say that you also helped my company a lot. So what's the next step?
That's a very good question. I think my next step right now is that I want to go more into physical businesses at the very same time because I've had my fair share of the digital world. And I'm not going to talk about the bank that's right now I'm in the talks with. And I want to train their whole sales team, which is more of like a physical business. And I want to test out and give myself a new challenge because money is nice. It's always nice. But trust me, I don't know about you guys, but what really kind of motivates me is the new challenge. When I have to get into that new challenge and I want to be uncomfortable and I have to be uncomfortable, this is my new level. So I'm going to get more into like physical businesses and train people and scale their businesses and take equity.
Amazing. So for who is that exactly? Like for what type of businesses?
It could be anything, but of course I'm doing digital and physical both. It's not like I'm not going to help. Like digital is what I'm really good at. So all the digital business owners, whatever kind of coaches that you are, I can help you, right? But at the very same time, let's say if you have a physical business where you have, let's say, reps, like sales reps and stuff, and they have certain script and stuff, what could be the opening? What could you say? How you can sell things more? It could be gyms, it could be banks, where, let's say, they have enough money, they have enough salespeople, they have enough leads. That's very important, that they need to have leads. I cannot help you with leads. Figure your leads out by yourself, right? So if you have enough leads, I can be there who can help you scale that.
That's amazing. That's really, really good. So what would you say like is something that the companies can expect by working with you? So because I know like everyone has like different, some people
Needs
don't
and
even know
requirements.
like sales is their main problem. Like they
Yeah.
think, oh, we need to do something else.
Yeah.
We need to work on the marketing, but they're
Yeah.
getting a lot of traffic, but they're actually not closing the deals.
So I think that one of the major things that people have to look, if you're a business owner, one thing that's going to always help you is when you look at your numbers. So if you're looking at your numbers and you're like, wait, we're getting 100 leads, we're able to close 10, what's going on? And if you see that there's a problem, it's like, doesn't matter how much we work, we're not able to close enough. That's where I come in. I'm like, let me tell you what are the major bottlenecks that you have in your business, right? Because I can look at the sales process. I have done it for myself. I have done it for the companies, right? So I can see, okay, what are the major things that is creating problem? Is it the people? Is it that the leads that are coming in are not warm enough? What's going on? Where the problem is in the sales process? How the numbers look like? How you can increase your show up rate, right? How you can make sure that you're closing really well, because closers need to be really intact. You need to be after closers, and that's what
It's
people do not
true.
understand. You need to be after closers in order for them to perform well. If you just leave the closers all by yourself, and let's say you're not having calls with them, trust me, they're gonna, after 1 month, 1.5 months, all the motivation goes away. You have to be after them. You have to keep them motivated, and it's your job, and that's what people don't understand. So this is where, I can help them in to look into their sales process and be like, hey, you just are making like 80 grand a month. Let's see how you can, scale it up to 160K, double it up. Like
Yes.
I can look at those numbers and can figure out, okay, just one change and you can double it up. For example, in Francesca's business, the only thing was, and the smallest thing, right? It was like they were so lenient with their closer, and they're like, yeah, the closers are closing, everything is good, they're getting the leads. But we are taking like 4 and 5 installments and stuff, and yeah, all this good.
Yes.
And I got it, and I'm like, what the hell are you guys doing? I'm like, just 2 installments. That's it. And every time businesses think, oh, that's impossible. If people would be able to pay, we just want them to be comfortable. No, it's all about how you put things out. And if you put yourself in this situation that, hey, we have 2 payment options, that's what I can do for you, and this is the best that we can do for you because we're providing this, because you were providing such a freaking good product and you were helping people. In 1 month, it doubled. In 1 month, the revenue doubled. And just a small change, and that's what companies do not realize.
Yes, that's so freaking true. So, and I think one thing that I realized when she was working with us is authority is so important. They were seeing her with completely different eyes than me, because at the end of the day, yes,
Very
I'm
good
the
point.
business owner, but I'm not the sales expert. Literally, when she said we're not closing any deals with more than 2 installments, they were not closing any deals with more than 2 installments. Like, at the end of the day, I would also say it's all about the authority of our sales manager.
That's very true. And I think that people like look at you, they're like, yeah, they have not done sales, even though that they are like the most business owners. It's more about that they can just close because they have authority. They don't know a clue about sales. But when a salesperson comes, because I can see if they're bullshitting or if they're actually telling the truth, right? So that's where I can like differentiate, be like, don't bullshit me. Don't tell me that this is the reason that you didn't close the deal, right? And then like, oh my God, she sees through. And if things doesn't work out, she can make us like not work with them together, right? So I think that's a very good point that you mentioned. Authority really matters because they see you expert in that thing and they're like, yeah, she knows what she's talking about.
Yes, I 100% agree on that. So I see that you're doing a lot of things. Like you're having like your coaching program where you teach people how they can become a closer from scratch. Then you have like your B2B program. Then you're working also with other people. How do you keep the focus with all of these different projects?
That's a very good question. I think there's someone, I think one of my student that I had a one-on-one call with, because they already started their own business now after closing for about 10 months. And like, how are you focusing? I'm already like shitting my pants. I don't know what to do. You know, one thing that you have to realize that 2 years ago, I don't think so I would have been able to handle this. The more that you get into a situation, like right now, I cannot have the problems like Elon Musk. I would not be able to take care of it. I would be overwhelmed. I'd be done in a day. Maybe in a few hours I'd be done. So what happens is that you build this. It doesn't come like the very day. You have to build this throughout. When I started closing, I was just good at closing. I don't think so I would have been able to handle what I can handle right now. Every year I gave myself a new challenge and I started working on it. Gave myself a new challenge. So it is built, not made in 1 day or 2 days. It is built throughout the year, so it doesn't happen just like that.
But how do you make sure that you don't burn out?
Majorly is that I have delegated a lot of things to the other people, right? And I work mainly as that I have to manage people, and that's what business owners should learn. It's all about managing people. And it's all about dividing the task. As soon as you have made like on a monthly goal, that this is your goal, this is what you want to reach to, you have tasks to do, and everyone has their own task, it gets so much easier. But if you have put yourself all the tasks, which I used to do before, it overwhelms you and you get yourself into that process. So now that I delegate and everybody knows their tasks and you're serious about it, it's so much easier to manage everything, right? Because I don't want to be taking care of like the whole marketing and start figuring out everything,
things,
right?
like...
All the small things. I don't want to be taking care of the copywriting. I don't want to be taking care of the Facebook ads. I do not want to be taking care of this, because if then I do all of this, I'd get overwhelmed. I'm like, okay, this is your job, this is your job, this is your job. My job, I would write down tasks for myself, right? Like my job is number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6. On like, let's say monthly basis. I don't go yearly because that's too big. Monthly basis, these are my tasks. This is what I have to focus on. And then I do my weekly tasks, what we have to achieve in a week. And then from a week, I put down on daily. And I do it on my calendar. And you have to check out whichever app that you look at the most. There are 2 apps that works the best for me. That's of course my calendar, because that checks the most. And number 2 is Notion. Like I put out everything in Notion. You can build everything on Notion. So these are the 2 applications that I would say one can use to divide things and the task. But for me, like, just think about, you remember how you managed everything is because everything was on your calendar and you knew that you have to do that shit?
Yeah.
And you cannot get out of that shit?
Yeah, it's reserved for it.
Yeah. But another thing that you have to give yourself time so you don't burn out. Like, for example, I just came like yesterday, a day before yesterday from London, right? So I can take 10 days off, and I gave myself that 10 days off time that I'm not going to work, like I did when I went to Europe.
Yeah, that's true.
And I give myself these times where I'm out of this and I can just focus on myself and my self-growth and not think about business all the time. You still have it in the back of your mind, but not all the time.
I like the tips, but it's very like from a perspective from someone that is established already. What's good, because I think also a lot of people that are established business owner are listening to this video right now. But what about people that are living like the typical 9-to-5 life and they want to start as a closer, they want to start that, like, how would you recommend them to structure their schedule?
Okay, that's a very good question. So, see, the thing is that one is the thing that you can change and one is the thing that you can change, right? The thing that you cannot change is your job. You cannot do this, right? So what you do that you that time is already gone. Do not even think about that time, right? Now there's the rest of the time that you have. Now that time can also be, that you eat your food, that you do the daily activities, that you're taking care of your health, and there are so many things that comes into there. So within that time, I would just sit down, right? And I would plan my week. On Sunday is the best day because that kind of preps you. Like Sunday evening, I would sit down, I would prep my whole week from Monday to Saturday, right? Give yourself Sunday, it's fine. You don't have to hustle every day. So Monday to Saturday, I would make my whole plan that, hey, Monday to this, I have this time. So this time I'm going to practice. This time I'm going to do this. And you make that on your calendar. Trust me, guys, use your calendar. Everyone has calendar. A Google Calendar, you don't have to pay anything for that shit, right? It's the freest thing ever. Like, take that Google Calendar and put it, like, for your week. And you know what Google Calendar sends you? Reminders. And the reminder said that you don't have to keep alarm every single time. So in that Google Calendar, write 2 hours practice, 1 hour give yourself time. Like one of my students, Vash, you know how she managed? She was in a job before.
Yeah,
like when
I know.
she joined you guys, when she was starting closing for them, she had a job from 9 to 6. She would come home from 6 to 6:30. She'd take a break, 6:30, and that was all planned in her calendar. From 7
that's
to
true.
7 to 10, she would close. 10 to 11, she would have food. 11 to 12, she would close, and then she would go to sleep. And that's how you can do. If you're starting as in the beginning, you have to kind of give something up in order to get
It's
something.
all about priorities.
Yeah, it's all
Always.
about priorities.
Yeah.
And it's very important that you really prioritize it because every day will come up with something. And I can promise you that every day there's going to be someone's birthday. There's going to be someone doing something or will ask you to go to the party. Every day there'll be something. But if you're focused and you want to reach to a goal, you got to give something up. That's how the whole universe works. You got to give something up in order to get something. So prioritize it and really stick to it and see if that has made a change. Try it for a month. It's not 1 month is nothing in your life.
You never know. So at
That
least
is
try
true.
it. That's what I say. Like, even if it's like the worst month ever and you work your ass off, you're tired as fuck, at least you try it. And maybe it's the one thing that will change your life forever.
That is
So
true.
therefore, take that advice. One thing that I very noticed from you and that I really appreciate from you, where I'm always like, wow, like you're so confident. Like you're so like, when she talks, like if you go a few minutes back, like she has this, she's just dropping facts. Like, this person knows what she wants, and you are not very like emotional when it comes to business. So I know that no matter what is going in your life, like you can just keep working. And you just mentioned that a lot of people out there, they're building beside of their 9-to-5. Then something comes up in their life. I don't know, like they're getting their heart broken, etc. And then they stop. What is your number one advice to be so sharp like you and so confident and keep the focus no matter what, to show up every single day?
Well, if you're not doing this, that means you do not want it bad enough. I swear to God. Like, if you're not doing this, that means you just told yourself, you got motivated. You saw my reel and you got motivated and you're like, you know what? I want to make 10 grand a month closing deals. And then what happens is you just don't do it anymore. So if you want it, and let me give you an example of one of the guy that I had a call with almost 1 year ago. You know what he told me? Khushi, I'm going to come back to you and I'm going to pay you. Just a month ago right now. He took a loan.
remember him.
He paid me. He's like, here I am back and I want it back. And he's a waiter in one of the biggest restaurants in New York. And he's like, I'm a people's person. I talk to people, but I still have no clue like about sales and I want to do this. He wanted bad enough. He's already
He's
working on
that
it.
guy.
And he's going to start closing as soon as possible. So
Yes.
my biggest advice is, if you really want to achieve anything in your life, make sure you want it bad enough. And how you put it in your
Yes.
brain is by reminding yourself it every single day. As soon as you start reminding yourself this every single day, that's when your brain starts to practice that and it becomes a habit. Just like when you brush your teeth every single morning, like you have to get up and brush your teeth. You do it automatically. And this is how you can work on automatically, is that when you make it as a habit.
Yes.
And regarding the confidence, this comes with knowledge. Like the more books that you would read, the more that you would learn, from podcasts, from YouTube videos. And I used to watch this all the time, like sit down, going into the car journeys, watching my podcast like all the time instead of listening to music. And I'm not saying don't listen to music, that's fine. But like while you're in the building phase, gain as much as you want to. And as soon as you have it, the more that you talk, the more knowledge that you have, the more confident you become.
Yes, and I always say, like, if you're not taking that opportunity, you're giving other people an opportunity. Like, the world
100%.
is still like, we're still like working, we're still making money. Like, no matter what happens, like, you will stay at the same
If
point
you
where are.
don't do it, someone else is going to do it.
Yes, and that's true. And I think the worst thing for me, maybe also for you too, maybe you have a story about that, was when I take a look back at my life, and I asked myself, wow, I see all these people building these businesses, all these people around me. What if, like, in 5 years, I'm still at the same point where I'm at right now, and all these people made it, and I'm still here? This fear literally made me crazy. Like, I started working on my business like that because I was like, I don't want to get left behind. Like, I don't want to see all these people that are having the same experiences like me, the same knowledge, being like way like ahead than me and having the life that I actually wanted, that I deserved.
100%. I agree with this. I would say that.
What's like one burning like thing, I would say, like statement, mindset that is in your mind that keeps you going like that, where you're like, shit,
I don't want to regret a thing when I'm in my deathbed. So when I'm dying, I don't want to tell myself, oh, if I would have done that, I don't want to do that. And life is unpredictable. You don't know what's going to happen. So live it to the fullest. Of course, that's very important. But if I'm not the best version, and if I did not do everything that I could do in order to become that cushy, and I meet that person in while I'm in my deathbed, like somehow God sends me that person, be like, this is what you could have been, girl. Yeah. That would hit me. And that's my biggest fear, and that's my biggest why. And that's why I want to work every single day to become that best version of myself, because I really, really am grateful for this life.
That's so freaking truth. At the end of the day, life is good. So, and you should make the most out of it. So how do you make the most out of your life? Like, yes, you're building these amazing businesses, you're making good money, but what's one thing that you'll live through it, like, that always keeps you, like,
going?
Yeah, I would say, like, something that you say, like, hey, I always need to have changes in my life, or I always need to do that to really, like, make something out of my life.
I think I always need challenges. If I'm the same person that I'm like 6 months ago, I'd be depressed. I would genuinely be depressed.
Crazy.
So for me, it's...
Because the 6 month cushy was pretty cool too.
That's true. I'm always cool. But the point is that you always want to learn. You always want to learn as much as you can, because, I mean, money, you can always make money, right? Most of the people 9 to 5 that they're depressed is because they're doing the same job every single day and they're not learning shit. It's the same thing. Maybe they'd get a promotion to make themselves feel better, but they're doing the same thing every single day. And that's why they stay depressed. Not that 9 to 5 is bad. 9 to 5 is good, but it just makes you stay into the same place forever. And that's why people are depressed. That's why people want to get out. And most of the people just hate their jobs, right? So if you do not want to be depressed, work on yourself. Just think, and Francesca's the biggest example. There were times that you felt really down. You worked on yourself. Here you are. You feel fulfilled. You're at peace. You're feeling much better. It's the same with me. There were times that I was hella depressed, right? I would not say depressed, it's a bigger term, but I was really down. I'm like, oh my God. I even texted you a lot of times about this, right? But what I did is I'm like, okay, Kushi, let's pick yourself up, pick a book. And it does not have to be about business all the time. It could be anything. It'd be self-growth, right? Pick a book and learn it, add it into your life and see if that makes you happy. And to be honest, it does. It really, really does, because I add something. It does not always have to be about money. It could be anything that you add a value in your life. You can become better.
What are the books that impacted you the most?
Ooh, Rich Dad Poor Dad was like my first book.
Really?
Yeah, one of the big book that
Mm-hmm.
influenced me the most is the book How to Be. Oh my God, what's the name of How to Get Influenced?
Yes, How to Win Friends and Influence People.
How to Win Friends
also
and Influence
one of my
people.
favorites.
I mean, the kind of rules and everything that is put out there, it is so true, because I also apply this in sales a lot of times. And this book is the reason that why I became good in sales.
What would you say, like, a person now, she listened to the video and she's like, wow, that sounds so cool, but how do I get started? Like, we already outlined somehow, like, how the journey looks like as a closer. You learn, you train yourself, you do role plays, then you do these calls, you get that commission. But what is, like, the very first step that someone needs to do?
So the very first step would be to join my webinar. So the very first step is to know that if you want to do this, right? Like if you're a people's person, you like talking to people, you like helping people, that's number one thing. Keep it in your mind. Number two, start finding out if you want to do it yourself. If you want to do it yourself, do it yourself. It's fine. If you want to find someone who is already doing it, who can teach you, find that coach or mentor. Like when I was starting I already had a mentor, right? So it was not like I felt like I was doing all by myself, because then you can do it faster because you can see the mistakes and you're like, okay, this is what I have to work on. This is what I have to work on, right? Then you start doing like taking all these podcasts and you're learning all about sales. You're reading a book and you start applying. Start talking to people. Start talking to yourself in the mirror every single day to build confidence. Now that you've built the confidence, now is the time to start talking to people. Starting doing role plays with people. Now that you've done that, start reaching out to coaches. Every coach needs a closer.
Yeah, that's true.
Please tell them.
We also need a closer. We need a closer, by the way. So when there's someone that is A1, like A1, I don't want to have average people and want to close for a nice company, like girl, it's better be a girl. But I also prefer guys, honestly. Like both.
There you go. Like everyone needs to reach out to people. Reach out to as many people. Don't be shy. Don't just do those 40 messages a day. Do 100 messages a day.
Yes,
go
and go
in.
the extra mile at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Honestly, if someone sends me a video, I'm more like, interesting.
Exactly. Do 100 messages a day with your intro video together. Get them in that, hey, why I am really good for your company. Give me some free calls or so, without paying me anything, because just I want to prove it to you how good of a closer I am. Who would not want to take you? Try to do experiments. Try to learn. And that's it. And if you are there, as soon as you get to the point of closing and the more that you take calls, that's when, and you close your first sale. I still remember all of my students, after they closed their first sale, they became unstoppable.
Yes, it's true.
Unstoppable.
Because
They never had a problem.
Believing in yourself.
Yeah, they never had a problem in between. They're like, oh, I can't close. No, from that on, it was just about closing, learning, making money. That's how it goes.
Amazing. One last thing to our audience. What do you want to tell them? Like one last learning.
So the last thing that I want to say to all of you is that just believe that you can do it. First thing starts with belief. And if you have that belief, then only it is possible. So believe that you can do it. Do not think that, when I was meeting Tai Lopez in like real life and I talked to him because I was like, oh my God, he's God, he knows everything. I talked to him, he's like, he's such a normal human being. And that's when I believe. And this was like 4 or 5 years ago when I met him for the first time. I was like, I believe that I can be him, because if this normal person, this normal human being that can do it, then anyone can do it. I believed and I did it. The number one thing is to believe that you can do it. As soon as you've set that for yourself, you're unstoppable.
And if you came to this part, that means you're truly believing in yourself that you can do it.
100%.
If not, you will not even search for that video.
That is absolutely true. So I think that, guys, that whatever you think that was like a aha moment for you in your life where it made you look for things online or for side hustles, I would really like you guys to comment about this, right? What was this aha moment for you? And how they can work with me. And of course, you can reach out to me on Instagram. You can just write sales or proof of like, hey, I came from YouTube. I want in. I want to learn. I can send you also free ebooks where you can learn a bit about sales. Looking forward for you guys to reach wherever that you want to reach, to whatever way that you want to take. But I know that you have it in you to be successful. So yes. I think we can.
It's a wrap.
That's a wrap. All right, guys. I hope that you like the podcast. Ciao.